Good morning and welcome to the judges, teachers, guests, and participants of Versus 2026. Now, I would like to introduce our judges today. The Chief Judge is Ms. Nur Azah binti Aziz, Civil Engineering Lecturer, Kedah Engineering Matriculation College. The second judge is Ms. Nurul Syahidah binti Muhammad Noor from Sekolah Menengah Sains Sultan Azlan Shah, Seratas. The third judge is Ms. Mahira binti Razali from Sekolah Menengah Sains Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah, Semsas. And I, Arina Zahid binti Muhammad Zamri from Sekolah Rasma Penuh Integrasi Rawang, while the timekeepers, Nur Kristina Bratisha binti Muhammad Shahrizain and Muhammad Farkul Adik bin Muhammad Muhayyaddin are from Akademi Sains Pendang, Kedah. Now, allow me to read the rules. Each team should consist of presenters and a technical assistant. The presentation must focus on the sub-theme assigned to the team. The duration of the presentation should not be more than 10 minutes. The bell will be rung once at the 9th minute and twice at the 10th minute. A question and answer session will be conducted after each presentation. Now, I would like to invite the first team from Sekolah Menengah Sains Dungun to present.
Test. Thank you. Test. Thank you. Panels, members of the floor, it is inherently impossible for Malaysia to achieve a resilient, safe, as well as an inclusive community if we do not curb it from the start, from the environment itself, with the help of the heart of our demographic, the youth. But before that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day I bid to esteemed panels of adjudicators, wise timekeepers, the moderators, rapporteurs, technical team, and last but never the least, members of the floor. Today, under our sub-theme 5, which is Community by Design, Youth Creating Spaces That Thrive, we are going to present to you our research topic, which is Leading Green, Living Clean, how Malaysian youth are transforming communities towards SDG 11. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, it is time for us to enter our definition. So in order for us to see eye to eye on what we actually meant in today's presentation, it's really important for us to highlight two key words that we are going to be constantly used in this presentation. So firstly, what do we actually mean by youth? Youth are these important stakeholders in which they act as change makers and the ones who will advocate for the nations. So these youth are individuals aged from 15 to 30 years old, aligned with the definition given by the Malaysian Youth Association. which means that in the Malaysian population, 1 in 4 Malaysians are considered as youth. Moving on is the second keyword, which is rapid urbanization. So, rapid urbanization is the precedented mass movement of people from rural areas to cities, which can be incentivized by industrial growth, economic opportunities, as it generates over 80% of the global GDP. However, from most of the pros that I've mentioned you, it also comes along with cons. For example, it risks infrastructure strain, housing shortages, which can lead to environmental degradation. For example, waste overflow, flash floods, as well as pollution. So, an example of urbanization is that the movement of a family in Perlis moving to Kuala Lumpur due to reasons of job opportunities, for example. So, which is why we concluded that the problem here is because the Malaysian government's policy right now caters a lot towards economic growth. We see that they put environmental sustainability at a secondary position, which poses risk, as I said before, environmental degradation. So moving on, I'll pass this research objective and methodology for Aisha. Care to present?
Okay, so right now you can see here this research focuses on the role of youth in building sustainable urban communities. So the first objective is the challenges youth leaders face in attaining sustainable urban communities. These challenges may include lack of public participation, insufficient support from authorities, and limited resources. How about the second objective? The second objective is to identify how youth-led initiatives contribute towards building and fostering sustainable urban community. This objective highlights the positive impact of youth involvement in promoting environmental awareness, community engagement, and sustainable development practices. Lastly, the third objective. The third objective is to provide possible solutions to overcome these challenges. By identifying effective strategies and approaches, youth leaders can contribute more effectively to sustainability efforts. So let's look at our research methodology. We use a mixed methods approach. Firstly, we conducted a quantitative survey and collected 139 responses. The research questions are 14. Okay. The results show that 99.3% believe that young people can help protect the environment. In addition, 99.3% also agree that community clean-up programs are useful. These findings show strong support from community for environmental protection and community participation. Let's move on to the next slide. This slide shows how uncontrolled urbanization affects environmental sustainability. The articles highlight that rapid urban growth can lead to urban sprawl, increased pollution, traffic congestion, and environmental degradation. This is the effect when we prioritize economic growth over environmental sustainability, which support our problem statement. Therefore, proper urban planning is important to ensure sustainable development while protecting the environment.
Thank you, Aisha, for the insight. So moving on, based on the RO that Aisha has described earlier, now I'll move on to the findings that we have to answer this RO. So firstly, do you know what's the challenge that you face in attaining sustainable development?
I think I have no idea, yeah.
So first and foremost, they face a form of discrimination in which it's formally introduced as adultism. So adultism is when prejudice, bias are placed upon the youth in which they deem them as too immature, too irrelevant for them to care of. And this not only can affect the mental health of the youth itself, which I won't be touching on, but it will also affect the trust from major donors and institutions. Because when you're trying to build an organization, funding as well as financial resource are a very important thing that you should highly note on. However, when this skepticism, these stereotypes are placed upon them, they find it very hard for them to actually achieve these financial resources. As we have seen here from a LinkedIn article given by Vincent Erga, in which he told about his experiences going to build an organization which struggles a lot because his lack of trust from major donors. So moving on is that actually although they have faced these skepticisms and these stereotypes placed upon them, they still managed to make a breakthrough by promoting environmental sustainability. Because currently, in the status quo, we live in a nation where day by day technological advancements are being made. So, by this technological advancement and their creativity combined, they managed to innovate something that can manage to combat the waste management crisis. We see here from three Sabahan men, they actually founded a company called the Banana Crafts, in which they've transformed banana peels into reusable materials such as food packaging as well as boxes for them to store items. And moving on to our moving on how these youth-led leaders can actually introduce this idea of environmental education for the public. They serve as a public awareness and a PSA for them to actually educate the world on how actually to maintain the environment. We see an international prominent figure, Greta Thunberg, in which she not only do spoke about geopolitical affairs, but she also spoke up on Friday for Future about environmental sustainability. And let's also not forget on how these Malaysian students can manage to file a lawsuit on the government in which they when the government breached the pledge of they made during the 1992 during the Rio Earth Summit. So with this, we have managed to come up with a solution on how we are going to combat this issue. Firstly, in order for us to destigmatize the society towards these stereotypes placed upon these people, we are going to introduce more youth climate activists as the as the European Union supports. Why? Because when we introduce the ideas of a leader in a demographic in which they serve as the majority of the demographic in the world, we undeniably are going to increase the environmental education knowledge that are going to be embedded into them. And let's also not forget that we have to let the others also know and be educated about this. So we have to enhance environmental education, as we see here on how the how UNICAL RCMP students actually contributes towards the conservation of in the Royal Bloom Forest at Perak. Because we have to and although we believe that youth plays a major part of the demographic, it is also really important for us to highlight there are also other part of the demographic, for example the children and the elders, who also need to know and who need to educate themselves about environmental education. So all in all, we conclude that this world, although are filled with youth skepticism, adultism, and discrimination, this world is not built for youth, but this world is built with youth. Youth here acts as someone who will change the world, who are going to be the next in line inside the leadership. Hence why it's very important for us to shape them into someone who not only prioritizes the economic growth but also puts environmental sustainability in order for Malaysia and soon ASEAN and maybe the global world to apply environmental education in all of their daily lives. Thank you.
I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
That's all right. Hi.
Hi.
It's a good presentation.
Thank you.
Okay. My questions is there's one of the slides shown there. 99.3% people can help protect the environment. So may I know how do you carry out the survey? Actually, the questionnaire.
Technical assistant, can you move back to this? So our question here is that we ask them, how do if we think that young people can actually help to protect the environment? Because right now we understand that we have the existence of social media, as well as community-led activities such as community cleanups. So which is why when this thing has become made more accessible and made more knowledgeable, we see here that young people actually do have the power to protect the environment. If they don't do it as an active participant, they can actually also do it as part of spreading awareness on social media.
Are they the students from your schools or people out there?
It's a
The
mix.
respondent.
The respondents are a mix of people from our school, the students, as well as people from outside. For example, the parents, teachers, so on and so forth.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, it is based on this thing as well. How many questions did you ask your respondents?
40.
40 questions. You don't have the questions here in the slide, no?
No, this is one of the more prominent questions that we have asked.
Okay, because you can see here in the slide, it's only 2 questions. Do you think young people have to report environment, and do you think community cleanup programs are useful? So we thought there's only 2 questions asked. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Test. Okay. Test. Okay.
Test. Hang on. Test.
Now, I would like to invite the second team from Sekolah Menengah Sains Muzaffar Shah to present.
Imagine it's 2 in the afternoon and you're sitting in your classroom. The sun is blazing through the windows, the fans are barely moving, and you're trying to focus on your teacher who is teaching in front, but your brain just can't stop thinking of how hot it is. This is not just a tale, this is the daily life of students in Malaysian residential schools. Good morning to the honorable judges, timekeepers, teachers, and fellow researchers. We are a team of student researchers from SM Science Muzaffar Shah Malacca, and we are here today to present our research on student perceptions of classroom heat and its influence on learning comfort in Malacca residential schools. Alright, so before I begin, let us introduce ourselves. I'm Raghavendra, this is Safi Fatini, and she is Nozuleka Danisha. We conducted our research under supervision of Mr. Rishafrin. Alright, so on to the problem background. But before I get into the problem background, let me show you a few secondary sources that we referred for our research. Alright, I'll just quickly go through it. So this is the first one, the second one, third one, and the fourth one. So what does all of this have to do with our research? Alright, so Malaysia, like many other tropical countries, has been experiencing the consequences of climate change. El Nino has significantly intensified heat across the whole country, causing heat stress to become a significant problem among the citizens. For students in residential schools specifically, this is a particular problem, as they tend to spend more time in their classrooms, so they can't avoid heat exposure. All right, and finally, these are some of the factors that cause students to feel uncomfortable in class. such as stuffy classrooms and crowded classrooms. All right, so when students feel uncomfortable in class, it's harder for them to learn. All right, so now I'll pass it over to my teammate Fatini to continue.
Thank you, Raga. So now let me guide you on how we conducted this research. Our research is built around 4 research objectives, which is specifically paired with specific research questions, instrument, and method of analysis. So now let's go through it one by one. Research objective number 1 is to identify the factors contributing to classroom heat discomfort. Next, research objective number 2 is to examine the relationship between classroom heat and learning comfort. Moving on to research objective number 3, which is to investigate, which is to observe the classroom conditions that are associated with heat discomfort. Last but not least, after we answered all those 3 research objectives, we can finally go to our research objective number 4, which is to identify practical improvements that can be used to improve our overall school classroom comfort. So we used both qualitative and quantitative method during our research, which is by having questionnaires with Likert scale and observation checklists and also open-ended questions. Together, these 4 research objectives give us a clear view and complete picture from the cause to the effect to the solution, which is used by triangulation method to point to one conclusion. Next, before we go into the finding, let me first establish why this study is conducted and why is it necessary. So previous research has been done on heat discomfort, but it mostly focused on building performances, better ventilation systems, and temperature measurements. I'm not saying these are not important. These are important, but they mostly often overlook one crucial perspective, which are us, the students themselves. There are limited research on how we actually experience heat. Therefore, our study fills that gap. As we put it, understanding classroom heat discomfort is not just about measuring temperatures, but it's actually about understanding how students experience heat and how it affects their learning. So now I will hand it to my friend Zulaika to show you our findings.
Thank you, Fatini. Let us begin with research objective 1, the factors that contribute to classroom heat discomfort. As we can look at the slide, the charts on the slide show the full breakdown, but here is what stands out. As we look at the mean scores, silent exposure a structured checklist, going beyond what students told us to see what was actually happening. What we found was consistent. The observation data matched the questionnaire responses closely. To strengthen the credibility of our entire study, students are telling the truth about what they experience every day. I now hand back to Raga for RO4 and our conclusions.
All right, so now on to research objective 4. So for research objective 4, we asked our participants on what are the solutions that they can come up with? All right, so some of the different types of solutions that they've given us is improve classroom ventilation, provide more working fans, better drinking water access, provide more shade areas, and improve seating arrangements. So as you can see from these data above, the mean score for each of them is at least 3.73, which shows that almost all of our respondents agree to all of the options. All right, so next. Okay, so other than that, we also asked our participants we asked them one open-ended question, which was, what are the effects of heat towards them? So we took all of their answers and we analyzed them thematically into 5 different themes. So as you can see, these are the themes: physical discomfort, poor ventilation and airflow, difficulty concentrating, sunlight exposure, and feeling tired and sleepy. All right, so next. Okay, so what did we get from our research? All right, so this is our research conclusion. So we concluded our research into 5 points, which are classroom heat definitely exists. And other than that, environmental factors such as sunlight and airflow contribute to the heat. And heat affects learning comfort directly. And next, our triangulation results that we got earlier support students' perceptions. And finally, practical interventions can help. And now I'll pass it over to my teammate Fatini for the solutions.
From our respondents. So today we are not proposing something that are complex renovations or something that is expensive. We are proposing practical school level interventions that can be implemented quickly and affordably. These 4 solutions directly answers what students has asked for. So number 1 is repair fans. Basically, ensure the existing fans are working efficiently and are functional. Next is improve ventilation by opening windows to make sure good air circulation in the room. Next, increase shaded areas to reduce heat buildup around the school compound. And last but not least is to increase drinking water access across the school to keep students hydrated, especially during hot afternoons. So these small improvements can make a meaningful impact for student comfort in class. So on behalf of my friend Raga, Zulaika, and me myself, Fatini, we would like to thank the honorable judges, our supervisor, Mr. Rishafrin, and everyone here for your attention and time.
All right, we really hope that our research sparks an impact towards students and teachers from fully residential schools.
Because every student deserves to learn in comfort.
Comfortable classrooms, better learning.
We are now ready for your questions. Thank you.
I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
Okay, hi.
Okay,
First of all, great presentation.
Thank you.
Congrats, guys. Okay. I have one question. Okay, will actual classroom temperature recorded objectively, or did the study rely entirely on student perception? Did you record the temperature?
Yes, we did. On our observation checklist, we did record it. And other than recording it, we also asked for students' perception in our survey too. So we got the info from 2 ways.
Yes, we
got it. It was at 35 degrees Celsius. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay, salam. One more question, yeah. Stated in your abstract saying that you the research design is involving 365 students and 70 classroom observations. Okay, how many schools you did this? This respondents.
Okay, so we did it. Our limitation of the study is Melaka Fully Residential School. So we did it in Sekolah Berasrama Penuh Integrasi Selanda, Saga, and also our school, Mosaic.
Okay, so 3 schools with 70 classrooms.
Yes,
Is it?
yeah, we use convenience sampling.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the interesting presentation.
Subhanallah.
Test, test, test. Test,
Now, I would like to invite the third team from College Islam Sultan Alam Shah to present.
We live in a world where everyone is connected on phones, yet many of us still feel unsafe. Let me ask you, how many of us truly feel safe walking outside alone, especially at dark?
Quick, 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 quick.
That's what I thought. How about you, Akif?
I don't. Sometimes I hate going out where someone is following me, or if something bad happened and no one realized that I'm gone. I'm gonna be dead.
Whoa, 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 chill out, bro. This, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the fear of being invisible in a crisis is what brings us here today. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to our judges, delegates, and friends. We are representing
College Islam Sultan Alam Shah.
A very warm thank you to our supervising teacher, Madam Raja Mohana. Behind the console, keeping our tech alive, is our technical assistant, Alicia Akila. Our favorite presenter,
Akif,
and I am Kaisa Humaira as your second presenter. Our topic for today is simple yet urgent. Mobilizing the future.
can one tap save a life?
Without further ado, I'll hand the floor to our lead presenter.
Thanks, Kaisa. Now, let's begin with the problem statement. Existing emergency reporting systems are often fragmented and inefficient. We discovered over 3 major gaps that weaken our community.
Wait, 3 major gaps? Geez, that's a lot.
I know, right? But for now, let's talk about the first one, the information gap. Victims often struggle to alert both neighbors and the authorities at the same time. Second, the reality gap. False evidence spreads faster than the truth, creating panic and unrest. Lastly, ineffective mediums. Status quo like WhatsApp groups that are meant to protect us often fail, dividing community instead of uniting it. According to Lizette Lancaster from the Institute of Security Studies, data shows that poorly managed groups can divide community and weaken trust between neighbors.
Worse, this gap leads to painful consequences such as loss of freedom, danger worsen, breakdown of trust, and increase in crime rate. As Dr. Zulkifli Muhammad, chairman of Malaysian Crime Prevention Foundation, MSPF Kedah, reminds us, most of criminal cases occur due to indifference and carelessness to the environment. This issue has become increasingly entrenched in our society. So, what is the preferable solution?
That leads us to researching the issue and brainstorming the idea. Now, with the problem being identified, we are focused to build a solution that meets community needs. by brainstorming, planning, developing, and interface refining.
Our core objectives are MOVE, M-U-V-E. To make a change,
You need to move.
First, we mobilize. Mobilizing the future where community collaborate to reduce public fear and crime. Second, we unite. Uniting the community and authorities by allowing a powerful alliances. Third, we validate. We gather law enforcement insights to create safer, better solutions. And lastly, we empower. Empowering young minds to take an action for their own community.
To achieve desired solution, we use two approaches, which is qualitative and quantitative.
How can you prove that?
Well, for the qualitative method, we conducted an interview with Encik Ghazali Ghazali from the ITM System and Application Division. He explained the difficulties that civilians often face while reporting emergencies, such as delays and communication disparity. Other than that, we also interviewed Inspector Tuan Raibul Awal Ishak, who shared us how violent crime rates can increase fear in our modern day society. Nevertheless, strong community connection can build trust and support law enforcement efforts.
Moreover,
These expert opinions showed us the importance of fast communication and strong community bonding.
Moreover, we also collected 163 survey responses from the residents.
Wow, that's a lot. What does it tell us?
Well, the survey revealed a strong community demand for better safety measures and connection. Notably, 71% of residents agree that their fear of crime is increasing, with the majority expressing concern about walking alone in the neighborhood after dark. Despite all of these anxieties, community readiness to collaborate is exceptionally high. 87% of residents stated they are willing to receive emergency alerts from their neighbors and check on their safety. These overwhelming positive responses demonstrates that community wanted a more connected and secure neighborhood system.
They told us clearly that emergency responses must be immediate, not delayed. Better interaction builds better trust. Now, at our first glance, our research may look like it was only focused on crime, and yes, because crime was the starting point. But as we dug deeper, we realized something important. Emergencies are not limited to crime. They also include medical crises, fires, and environmental disasters.
And that is where our idea comes in to validate Sustainable Development Goal 11 by making cities resilient and sustainable. Therefore, we ask,
Can one tap save a life? Here is our answer. Introducing
Circle
Circle Alert. Emergencies like crimes, fires, and medical crises can pose serious risk to our society. Even though emergency services are present, but delays often happen because community lack communication tools that are quick enough. This can slow down response time and make emergency lethal.
Most importantly, it is a youth-led mobile app built on 4 pillars: connected communities, civilian alert, crisis alert, and also incident mapping, which means our app reduces fear, increases confidence, creating spaces with community involvement, and lastly, speeds up emergency response. But let's make it real.
Let us picture this. A young man stumbles over a rock and falls over. Ah, help! I can't move. I need the SOS button.
He reached for the phone and clicked the SOS button. The GPS will convert the location into a code, notifying the communities and authorities at the same time. Though, community often arrive first, giving immediate help, while authorities can prepare for better cases.
The alert goes both to the authorities and the community at the same time. The authorities receive the coordinates directly, while local leaders, neighborhood watch, and the volunteers are notified. The community often arriving first, if offering immediate support and reporting back. But if it's serious, the authorities are already locked in and ready to jump into action.
This dual pathway ensures that victims are never alone. Technology blends with human presence, making safety reliable. It seems like we are about the end of our session. Would you mind showing us what you have prepared?
Gladly, we have prepared a mock-up version of the application to all of our honorable judges. Now, with Circle Alert, reporting emergencies are far more easier and faster. Emergencies can be resolved, minimizing delays caused by ineffective communication mediums. And again, Circle Alert is not just an app, it's a movement.
A movement where one tap can save a life, rebuild trust, and creating spaces that thrive for the community.
Together, we don't just imagine safer cities, we create them. As Nelson Mandela said, the youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
Yes. Hi. My question is, what are the challenges that you face when you carried out the surveys and when you are carrying out this circle alert, right? The movement, right?
The movement. Okay, thank you for your standard question. Well, one of the challenges we face when developing this brilliant app is coding it through HTML interface that is scripted by AI.
Is that all?
Yes.
Only one challenge, is it?
We
yeah.
also face several difficulties with our with our interviews with the experts, because sometimes we are unable to find the exact suitable time for us to interview. So it is one of our difficulties that we face. Is that enough?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, one question for me. You are developing an app, right?
Yes.
So, do you think that there will be misuse of the app? Okay, for example, a kid who really like to know what happens next, if he or she press the button for no reason, it's just misuse of the app. Okay, that will happen. How do you overcome this? How do you know that that person is actually really in danger and he or she really needs help? Or is this just a test to push up the button? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your standard question. Well, when pressing the SOS button, there is some additional verification that are included in the application. So this will decrease the chances of misuse. And other than that, we also emphasize logged in account on the application. So I think there is no unknown misuse or suspicious calling in the app.
And moreover, I would like to add, since we are talking about community involvement, so which means community often arrive first. So when they arrive first, they can validate whether the incident actually happened or it is just a fake,
Fake calling.
fake calling. So they can when they are at the exact location, they can see whether it is real or not, and then they can report it back to the authorities whether they have to come for emergencies or they can pull back. I think that's answer. I hope that's answer your question.
Thank you for the interesting presentation.
I'm so sorry.
Test, test.
Test, 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 test,
Test, test.
test, test. Test 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3.
Next, I would like to invite the fourth team from Park Fanang School, Thailand to present.
Good morning, honorable judges. We are Eco Visionary from Pak Penang School.
Today, we are here to represent our project title, Pak Penang Water Resilient City, Transforming Urban Spaces for Sustainable Flood Management. My name is Pim Chanok Thongon, and my team members are Thirawat Kualamthan and Supichaya Promana. Our project advisor is Savitri Khauman. Our project is developed under SDG 11 and Subteam 5, Community by Design, youth creating spaces that thrive. Next is our process research methodology. Phase 1, identify the problem. Phase 2, set research objective. Phase 3, investigate root cause. Phase 4, decide the framework. Phase 5, evaluate which community. Phase 6, analyze the data. Phase 7, interpret finding. And finally, phase 8 is make recommendation. Pak Penang district in Nakhon Si Thammarat is a historic coastal and port city. However, during the northeast monsoon season, from November to January, the municipality faced severe flooding and high sea level surges. Main road, commercial areas like the 100-year, schools, and temples are quickly flooded, with water level reaching uncertainty. This severely impact to the local economy, public health, and daily life. To solve this, we set three main objectives. First is to investigate the factor causing flood in Pak Penang municipality. Second, to design an emergency response and urban space management framework based on the United Nations Office for Disaster Reduction, Making City Resilient 2030 guidelines. Third is to propose sustainable resilient city development guidelines for local governments. We conducted quantitative research with real community engagement from a total population of 18,009 residents. We use simple random sampling to select 452 participants. We spent 1 month collecting the data in the municipality through online and in-person questionnaire, interview, and field survey. The data was analyzed using percentage, mean score, and standard deviation. Our field survey, interview, and review of government data, like the meteorological department, we found that the flooding is not caused by rain alone. It is a combination of three main factors. First is physical factors. It is a low-lying river mouth area, sitting only 50 to 80 centimeters above sea level, making natural drainage extremely slow. Second is hydrological factors. We face severe pincer attack, heavy monsoon rain, and massive mountain runoff violently collide with high tide and coastal storm surges. Third is human and management factor. Rapid urban expansion completely block our natural waterways alongside deeply limited drainage system. Furthermore, when the Uthok Vipavasi floodgate is releases upstream water during high tide, it severely compounds the flooding in our community.
Based on this problem, we developed the Pak Penang Water Resilient City Framework. We integrated the UNDRR MCR 2030 standard, the concept of living with water, and a participatory system. This led to 4 key innovations. First is the flow to median. We transformed the road median into temporary water storage spaces with a depth of 0.3 to 0.6 meter. When it rains heavily, water flows from the road down into the sunken media by gravity. This immediately reduces street flooding. The water is transferred to larger retention area and released when the river level drops. Second is floodable park. During normal time, they are beautiful public park for relaxation. But during a flood or high tide, it transforms into temporary water basins capable of holding 1,500 to to 1,700 cubic meter of water, with an underground depth of 2.5 to 4.0 meter. We selected south and fertile plants like cypress tree. When water levels are high, the system closes the net pipe to keep water in the park and slowly release when the situation improves. Third is the hydrocourt. Inspired by Bentembrand Water Square in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, we upgrade existing sport field or temple courtyards in sunken spaces, normally used for community activity. They can store at least 800 cubic meter of water each during a flood. They feature smart valve to prevent backflow and step concrete seating. That check out a physical water level indicator. Finally, our line-based notification system, using the participatory system concept, is subset two-way communication. It pulls data from meteorological department and municipal CCTV camera to send alert, map, and evacuation to residents. In return, citizens can directly report flood situation or ask for help to line. As shown on this map, we have carefully targeted local park, temple, and school as an installation point for this innovation.
Building on our four innovations, here's how we upgrade Phra Phang emergency plan using the UNDRR MCR 2030 10 essentials. For essential 3, 4, and 5, we introduce proactive budgeting and turn the city into a flood defense system. Using flow 2 medians, hydrocourts, and floodable park. For essential 1, 6, and 7, we shift from internal radios to a community-driven two-way light OA system, actively engage residents, temples, and schools. For essential 2 and 9, we upgrade basic forecast by combining the time data with CCTV to send precise early warnings to line. And finally, for essential 8 and 10, we replace temporary sandbag with permanent drainage and use citizen live photos for faster compensation, ensuring we to rebuild back better. Based on the evaluation from 452 residents, our framework achieved the highest level of public acceptance with an overall mean score of 4.52 and an SD of 0.53. Among the physical designs, the Floodable Park received the highest support with a mean of 4.62. Most importantly, the highest score in the survey was 4.65. This reflects the community's strong willingness to cooperate with the municipality to maintain these infrastructures in the long run. We didn't just stop at the research. We officially presented the plan to the Director of Public Work Division of Phra Phang Municipality and received a good feedback. The municipality plans to study the structural and financial feasibility. They are considering our blueprints into their infrastructures and urban planning for the next fiscal year. Our findings fully meet our key research objective. First, the floods are caused by the city low-lying geography, converging upstream of sea surges and urban expansion. Second, our MCR 2030 Alive framework received the highest public evaluation, showing strong community willingness to cooperate. Third, the framework demonstrates potential as a practical guideline for local government. We officially presented the plan to the municipality and received constructive recommendations to further study the structural safety and budget feasibility. To conclude our presentation, we would like to propose 5 actionable recommendations for the municipality to move forward. First, integrate this innovation into future urban development plans. Second, start with pilot projects to test the effectiveness before investing in large-scale construction. Third, officially launch the line-based warning system to the public. Fourth, actively engage local schools, temple, and community to move this process together. And finally, conduct further engineering and cost benefit, ensuring the maximum feasibility.
Ultimately, building a resilient city requires living with water through a participatory system. Together, we can transform Phra Phang from a city that just survives flood into a sustainable community that thrives alongside them. Thank you.
I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
Okay, thank you. Great presentation. Congrats. Okay. So back to your sample. So you have a large sample size, more than 400. Okay, so how you run or distribute the questionnaire?
How did we survey?
Yes,
Sorry.
how distribute the questionnaire?
We usually spend the time our weekends and when we have free time. So we usually went to the 22 communities in Pang Panang that face flood problems and interview them and use the survey like Google Forms and yeah.
Google Form is logic. Yeah, if you distribute manual, it's quite
Yeah.
hard, right?
Yeah, correct. But in Google Form, we usually explain them with our flow chart, like how that our models works and how is the plan working by using the language that the village can understand more easy.
Hi. How long does it take for you to complete your research?
Yes.
How long does it take for you to complete your research? The time frame.
Yeah,
Because you are conducting such a big group, right?
yeah. We spend the time when we have free time, like after school, like and when we like Sunday and Saturday when we have free time to okay, that.
Okay, just one question from me is about the what do you call that? The floodable park, right? Is it the public park? You will do it in the
Yeah.
public park.
Yeah, we actually turn the normal park in our city to have a function that could be less the place that people can relax
Yeah.
and
Okay, I understand that one because you turn that park into the floodable park, right?
Yeah.
Is there any safety measure because it's open for public, right? But suddenly it becomes a floodable park where all the flood goes there, right? So is there any safety measure for those public to be alert that that park is actually flooded?
actually in Papanang there is three schedule that are the title suggest ways. The first schedule is when the water come up and the level of water, we will release the water when the water level drop and then clean the park. So open again for the villagers.
Okay, thank you. Good presentation. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the fascinating presentation. Test.
Test.
Test. Next, I would like to invite the fifth team from Sekolah Menengah Sains Teluk Intan to present.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to the honorable judges, the precise timekeepers, the enthusiastic moderator, as well as the reliable repertoire, the brilliant technical team, our trusted technical assistant, as well as our beloved audience. Now, for today, we have prepared for you a slide to show our topic, which is empowering Malaysian youth to shape their communities. Now, Sumaya, what is our topic based on?
Well, our sub-theme is use creating spaces that thrive.
I see. So before we start, let's meet the team. First, we have Afika Aina as the representative to be the moderator. Next is myself as the technical assistant as well as the presenter. Lastly is my friend Smaya joining me as presenter. So Smaya, and our assistant teacher and assisting teacher, Teacher Afida. So Smaya, what actually is SDG 11?
Well, in this slide, we have prepared guys a video of an urban city which is located in Teluk Intan. Now, to create cities and communities that are inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable for everyone, SDG 11 envision urban environment where people have access to affordable housing, reliable public transportation, green spaces, while protecting cultural heritage and reducing environmental impact. By promoting equality, sustainability, cities can improve the quality of life for future generations. Now, our target for SDG 11 was to highlight challenges in growing urban areas, which our sub-theme was SDG 11.7 public spaces. Now, Arif, why was this study conducted?
That's a good question. And to answer that, we've prepared for you a short story. Here, we can see an illustration of 3 separate groups of youth hanging out in 3 separate spaces. The first of which being on top of a roof. Second, at a skate park. And the third, under a bridge. Now, you might be thinking, of course, the most conventional place for them to hang out is at the skate park. But sadly, that's not the case. Nowadays, the groups of youth find all 3 places as acceptable places to hang out. But why is that? Well, it's because when the adults and the older community members in general are the ones who plan and design these places, the youth are forced to redefine these spaces beyond their intended purposes. For example, they can express themselves freely on the rooftop and find a sense of belonging under a bridge where they aren't judged by anyone else. So what I'm trying to say is the people who use these spaces are most often not involved in actually designing them.
Now, based on what I say, this raises our main research question, which is how can community thrive if youth are excluded? This points out a few problems, which are the adults are the one that planning and designing this place, while the youth are the one that using them, while their voices are missing in this discussion. Excluding youth also means losing valuable resources such as innovation and creativity, and also local knowledge. Young people often identify emerging challenges, trends, and opportunities that older generation may overlook. Now, moving on. Arif, what about youth-led spaces?
Well, when it comes to youth-led spaces, a great example would be a community garden, where here we see that before it was simply just a abandoned lot, an empty space. But when the community banded together, it helped strengthen their bonds between the youth and the older community members, and also created a space of harmony. In this project, the community, especially the youth, had a chance to demonstrate their leadership skills as well as learn to care and love for the garden. Whereas the older community members could pass down their wisdom on gardening and also strengthen the bonds between both age groups. Now, this had helped demonstrate exactly how small projects could make amazing impact on daily life. So what I'm trying to say is, what a simpler way to say this is Small projects can make a big difference, especially in community life. Next. So, Sumaya, how can youth-led designs actually improve community life?
Well, based on this, we share the same common objective, which are the first one, to transform youth from passive user into active designer. And the second objective is to create community improvement through collaboration. While we're going through discussing this, we find a way to express this objective with, we just don't just ask you to use spaces, we ask them to create them.
I see. So some of you may be wondering how we conducted this experiment. Well, while researching, we had three ways to gather information. First, we asked open-ended questions to a few people in Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, and Perak. Next, based on the three states, we had three separate sessions where we conducted participatory mapping, where the participants could map out their day-to-day experiences and we could identify the main problem. Next, we conducted a placemaking workshop in those three states where everyone who was present could suggest and draw their ideas down so we could see how their creativeness could impact community life, and it showed that the sense of belonging in these communities increased by a 32% total, where before it was around 40% and it increased to a total of 63%. Whereas the perceived unsafety that these locals saw had decreased by a total of 41%. So, Sumaya, what actually comes next if we were to achieve sub-goal 11.7?
Well, Arif, after we achieve SDG 11, the inclusion of youth in council planning as well as youth participation as a part of community development. For example, we train them under Rukun Tetangga, and if they excel it well, we'll provide them micro-budget for youth-led development project. Ultimately, youth aren't just future users, they are present city makers.
I see. So what I got from that was inclusion can create a sense of belonging, whereas participation will improve the safety, and lastly, youth leadership supports SDG 11. And now we begin our Q&A session.
I would like to invite judges to ask questions.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, as an English teacher, I couldn't help myself to look at your spelling errors here and there. Okay, so please check later the spelling in the slides. Okay, that is not my question. That's, as an English teacher, I say I couldn't help seeing all those things. Okay. Okay, my question is actually, how did you get the data? You said that from several respondents, several people. So how many of them actually? And then who are they? Okay, thank you.
Well, basically, mostly from our school, we have.
We had conducted an interview from 3 different states. In Perak, we asked 40 students of Sekolah Menengah Sains Teluk Intan. In Selangor, we conducted in Selangor and Kuala Lumpur, we conducted a street interview with a total of 60 people.
But then how do you decide on, because it's stated here, your action research design across 3 low-income residential communities. How you decide on these people?
Well, we asked the street interview in low-income communities, but for Perak, we asked a few students that came from low-income communities.
can I look back your result percentage result, the questionnaire result? Is it? Okay. So how can you say the findings about 41% of received unsafety?
Well, we had a total of 100 people. So we interpreted their answers as a positive value or a negative value.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Thank you for the informative presentation.
Yes. Thank you. Test. Test. Yes. Test.
Lastly, I would like to invite the system from SPP Integrasi Kuantan to present.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning to respected judges, teachers, and fellow participants. Imagine the situation. It is 11 p.m. during exam week. A student is still revising, surrounded by notes, assignments, and expectations. Physically, you think that they are present, but emotionally, they are exhausted. This reality inspired our research project entitled Under Pressure, Designing Spaces for People's Emotional Resilience. Today, we will share how examination affects people's and how a simple school-based solution can help create a healthier and more supportive environment. Our project is closely connected to SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, particularly the theme Community by Design, Youth Creative Spaces That Thrive. As students ourselves, we believe that thriving communities are not only built with buildings and facilities, but also with spaces that support emotional well-being. Before we begin, we would like to introduce our team. I am Nurana Zahira Beti Nazri, serving as the reporters and one of the presenters. And I am Amina Khalisha Ambiti Amir Hamzah, presenter of this project. Our technical assistant is Iman Harfi bin Muhammad Nasuha, and our mentor is Mr. Azrik Aiman bin Azman. We would like to express our sincere appreciation for his support and guidance throughout this research project. When people think about examinations, they usually focus on academic performance. However, behind every examination period lies another challenge: emotional pressure. Students often face multiple assessments at the same time, limited opportunities to rest, increasing academic demands, and high expectations from themselves, teachers, and parents. Over time, these pressures can affect concentration, motivation, and emotional well-being. While schools provide many spaces for studying, there are very few spaces specifically designed for students to pause, recharge, and regain emotional balance. This observation became the foundation of our study. Now, I would like to give you a sneak peek into our presentation. We will first begin with the introduction, followed by the problem statement.
After that, we will go through our research aim and objectives, research questions, and research methodology.
After that, we will continue with findings and discussions. Next, limitations, recommendation, and we will end our presentation with conclusion. So, research from Reshape Malaysia highlights that examination periods are associated with increased stress and anxiety among pupils. Similarly, studies have shown that examinations frequently trigger negative emotional responses and emotional strain. These studies highlight the need for supportive learning environment.
This led us to identify three key problems. The first is students experience increasing academic pressure during examination periods. Second, there are limited supportive environments that focuses on emotional well-being. And lastly, many people face stress and emotional fatigue that may affect both their learning and overall school experiences. Therefore, we felt that schools should not only support students academically, but also emotionally. The aim of our research is to examine the relationship between school environments and people's well-being during examination periods, while developing a people-centered solution that promotes emotional resilience within boarding school communities.
To achieve this aim, we established three objectives. Our first objective was to identify factors that contribute to pupil stress during examination periods.
Our second objective is to examine how supportive school environments can influence people's well-being.
And our third objective was to evaluate the effectiveness of a calming space in strengthening pupils' emotional resilience. To ensure reliable findings, we use a mixed method approach, combining both quantitative and qualitative methods.
For the quantitative method, we conducted a survey among pupils to collect data based on their experiences during examination periods. And for the qualitative method, we carried out interviews to gain deeper insights into people's emotions, thoughts, and personal experiences. By combining both methods, we were not only able to understand what they experience, but also why they experience it.
Moving on to our findings, we asked people how often they feel stressed or mentally overwhelmed during exam week. The result shows that most respondents select often and always, indicating that stress is a common experience during examination periods.
Moving on to our first research objective, which is to identify factors contributing to people's stress during examination week. Based on our survey findings, the main cause of stress was academic workload or revision pressure, which was reported by 91.7% of respondents. This was followed by the fear of poor results with 79.2%.
This research is supported by extensive syllabus coverage, revision tasks, and multiple examinations are among the major causes of exam stress. This shows that pupils are not only pressured by the amount of work they need to complete, but also by the fear of not achieving the result they expect. For the second objective, we examine how supportive school environments influence pupil emotional well-being. The research shows that supportive school environments improve students' well-being, resilience, engagement, and even academic performance.
This was also reflected in our interview findings. One people shared that encouragement from teachers and access to a quiet space makes them remain calm and feel less overwhelmed. This highlights the importance of environments that support students not only academically but also emotionally.
For our third objective, we evaluate the potential effectiveness of a calming space, which later inspired our research corner concept. The research showed that a prefect mentioned that while there are many places to study, there are very few places where pupils can simply pause and reset while feeling overwhelmed.
Survey results also showed that majority of people believe that such a space would be helpful or very helpful during examination periods.
Therefore, these findings suggest that a dedicated calming space could play an important role in strengthening pupils' emotional well-being. These findings became the foundation of our proposed solution, the Recharge Corner. This is a dedicated space where pupils can pause, recharge, and return stronger during examination periods.
The Recharge Corner focuses on three key elements. The first is peer support, which encourages connection, positivity, and mutual encouragement among pupils. The second is it provides healthy coping strategies, which includes breathing exercises, reflection activities, and stress management techniques.
The final element is emotional resilience. Rather than helping pupils avoid challenges, the Recharge Corner helps them adapt, recover, and thrive when facing academic pressure. Our goal is simple: to transform a small space into a powerful source of emotional support.
Like any research, our study has several limitations. It was conducted within one boarding school, it has a limited number of participants, the long-term effectiveness of the Recharge Corner has not yet been fully evaluated, and people's response may vary based on individuals' experiences.
For future improvement, we recommend implementing the Recharge Corner during examination periods, expanding the study to other boarding schools, increasing the sample size, and evaluating its long-term impact on pupils' emotional resilience. In conclusion, our research shows that examination stress has a significant impact on pupils' emotional well-being.
We also found that supportive spaces play an important role in strengthening emotional resilience.
The Recharge Corner offers a practical, realistic, and student-centered solution that schools can implement to support pupils during challenging periods.
As we often focus on helping students achieve academic success, we must also remember something equally important. Healthy minds build thriving communities. When students are supported emotionally, they are better prepared to learn, grow, and succeed. Thank you for your attention.
We sincerely appreciate your time and will be happy to answer any questions.
Thriving communities begin with healthy minds. I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Congrats guys for a great presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm interested with your research Recharge Corner. Okay,
Yes.
Recharge Corner. Okay, so how does Recharge Corner differ from the counseling rooms already available in our school, right? Okay. So as I know, counseling room is the comfort place for students to release their stress.
I'm
Okay,
sorry,
thank you.
can you repeat the question? I didn't get it.
How does Recharge Corner differ from the counseling rooms already have in school, right?
Well, the Recharge Corner is proposed to help students take a short mental break, have an opportunity to pause, and then have their coping strategies. This will help them reduce stress and manage stress more properly. The difference between the counseling unit and the Recharge Corner is that the counseling unit help students with more personal problems or more problematic problems like family problems or related to schools. While the Recharge Corner is just a space where students can relax for a bit, around 10 to 5 minutes, and clear their minds so they could perform better in their studies and achieve more better results in the examination.
I agree, but at my place, counseling room is open for all. You can do whatever you want in the counseling rooms. Okay.
For me, the counseling room is an open space where many people come together, but the Recharge Corner has individual pods, which makes it more private for other people to release stress, to release their own problems, while the counseling rooms has many people in it, so it's not that private.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Recharge Corner, first question, where do you put that corner? Okay, one question. And another one is, what actually the students do at the Recharge Corner specifically? I mean, do they go there and shout or what? Okay.
We have made a survey about it, and most of the students would like it to be placed in the library or probably in the I can't remember, but it's probably in a more private place. What is the second question?
What do they actually do there?
Well, can we go to the slide, to the recharge corner slide? Uh, a bit, this one. So the recharge corner has a lot of things. Like in the recharge corner, they provided individual parts, comfortable sofa, even a study desk. But the activities in the recharge corner is a lot. Like the students can read motivational quotes, write journals, or just learn healthy ways to cope with hard moments. They could also learn breathing techniques so they could reduce their anxiety, especially during examination periods.
I have a question. Where do you want to locate the recharge room? And is the school's administrations allowed to have this kind of recharge room? Because since this is just a proposed recharge room, recharge corner. Sorry.
Like I said before, the recharge corner will be placed. It's between two, the library or a private place. Since the recharge corner is more of a private individual parts. I'm sorry. What's the second question?
Who's going to does the school administration allow it to have this recharge corner if your proposal is accepted?
Oh, if the phone was accepted.
Is the school administrations allowed to have this recharge corner?
Allowed.
If let's say you are proposing this, right?
So when they accept it, we will. It's not confirmed yet since it's a proposed idea. If the school accepts, then we will gladly do it in the school. But if it's not accepted, then we will make changes so the school will rethink and hopefully approve its use.
Thank you.
As the recharge corner can also help us emotionally relax, it will also make our results increase. So we hope that maybe the school administrations can accept it, as it can also increase our school's performance.
I agree with that, but mostly students love to scrolling social media platforms rather than recharge themselves in that particular corner, right?
Yeah, it depends on them. Like if the students wants to go to the church corner, it's okay. If they don't want to go it's okay. It depends on how they relax techniques. Some of them may listen to music. Some of them may just watch the beautiful scenery after school. It depends because the recharge corner is a proposed idea for students to take a short mental break.
That's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you for the interesting presentation, and thank you to all judges for your time.
Thank you.